Women with a fearful, avoidant attachment style are caught in a constant tug of war between two powerful instincts: the desire for deep emotional intimacy and the fear that this intimacy will lead to pain. Now, it's not because she doesn't care about you or isn't attracted to you, it's because her past experiences have taught her that closeness can hurt. Imagine wanting to hold fire for its warmth, but being terrified of getting burned. The inner conflict often stems from past trauma, childhood experiences, or even previous relationships where trust was broken. She might have been let down by someone she depended on, or worse, experienced rejection after letting her guard down. Over time, this will create a belief system. If I let someone in, I'll get hurt, but if I push them away, I'll lose them. Here's the thing, guys. Her pulling away isn't just about you, and I can't stress this enough. It's actually a defense mechanism kicking in, a way to protect herself from potential heartbreak. If you take this personally, you're going to spiral. You'll question your worth, your actions, or even your relationship itself, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. In this video, I'll share key strategies to help you navigate a relationship with this kind of woman. Jessica OS here, welcome to the channel. Let's dive into some do's and don'ts when your fearful, avoidant woman starts withdrawal. Number 1, don't chase. If she starts withdrawing, the instinct might be to chase her harder to prove you're worth staying for. But let me tell you, this will only validate her fears that you're not safe. Chasing makes her feel trapped, and that's when she'll run away. 2, don't get defensive. When she pulls away or acts distant, it's easy to snap back with frustration or accusations, but this will just reinforce her belief that closeness equals conflict. 3, don't assume that she doesn't care. She cares, probably more than she's willing to admit. Her fear is what's keeping her from expressing it fully. What should you do instead? Well, instead of reacting emotionally to her fear-driven behaviors, try to respond with understanding. Recognize the signs of her pulling away for what they are: a protective reflex. She might cancel plans out of the blue, seem cold during an emotional moment, or even go quiet after a deep conversation. These aren't signs that she's losing interest. They're signs that she's overwhelmed by how much she feels. The key here is to remain steady and composed. Show her through your actions that you're not going anywhere. This doesn't mean being a doormat. It means being a safe space where she doesn't have to fear judgment, pressure, or rejection. Imagine being in her shoes, really. Constantly battling the urge to love and the fear of loss. It's exhausting. By understanding her fear and not reacting emotionally, you're not only showing her that you're different from the people who hurt her, you're also teaching her that intimacy doesn't have to come with pain. And when she starts to trust that, that's when the real magic will begin to happen. But you've got to be patient, because this isn't something that changes overnight. Number 2, stay calm even when she pulls back. Look, she will pull back. It's part of how a fearful, avoidant person operates. Maybe you've just had an amazing date where you felt like this was a really deep connection, only to find her cold and distant the next day. Or worse, she'll start ghosting you, leaving your texts unread. Your gut reaction will be to panic. You want answers, reassurance, validation. The truth is, the worst thing you can do in this situation is freak out. When a woman with a fearful, avoidant attachment style pulls back, it's not because she doesn't like you or wants things to end. It's because she's overwhelmed by the vulnerability that she's feeling. That incredible connection that you felt, she felt it too, and it scared the hell out of her. Her instinct is to retreat, to protect herself and not to hurt you. She's trying to regain control over her emotions. It's like an emotional timeout, a chance to process what she's feeling without the fear of being hurt. Here's where most men mess up, and I get it, it's not your fault. When she pulls away, the natural response will be to chase her. You send a barrage of texts. What's wrong? Did I do something? Are we okay? You might even show up at her door or over-explain how much you care. But let me be clear, that kind of behavior does more harm than good. Okay, for instance, bombarding her with text messages. And I mean, sending multiple texts or calling her repeatedly will just feed her fear that you're too much and that she's losing her independence. 2, demanding reassurance, where you're pressuring her to explain why she's distant or prove her feelings, will only add to her emotional overwhelm. 3, getting angry or defensive, and by this I mean lashing out because you feel hurt, will reinforce her belief that closeness leads to conflict. If you fall into these traps, you're unintentionally confirming her fears and pushing her further away. So this is what you need to do instead. When she pulls back, you need to stay calm. Give her the space that she's looking for without taking it personally. It doesn't mean you're ignoring her or pretending that you don't care. It means you're respecting her need to step back and process her feelings. Something as simple as this lets her know that you're paying attention, but you're not pressuring her. It shows her that you're secure enough in yourself to give her the breathing room that she needs. It shows her that you're not a threat. You're not going to abandon her, but you're also not going to smother her. You're teaching her that it's safe to come back to you because you're steady, reliable, and not reactive. Now, staying calm doesn't mean sitting by your phone and waiting for her to call. Here's what you can do while she's processing. 1, focus on yourself. 2, maintain the same energy. Don't change how you interact with her when she comes back. If you're warm and caring one day but cold and distant the next because she pulled away, she'll feel like she can't trust you. 3, practice patience. This process will take time. She needs to see consistency from you over and over again before she'll start to let her guard down. Number 3, let's talk about how to build trust with your fearful, avoidant woman. Let me paint a picture for you, okay? A woman with a fearful, avoidant attachment style has likely been let down before, maybe by her parents, her ex, or someone she deeply cared about. She's learned that people closest to her are often the ones who hurt her the most. So now her brain is hardwired to believe that even if you seem perfect, you're just waiting to betray her. I mean, it's not fair, but it's her reality. Every time she's been let down, it reinforces her belief that closeness equals pain. So when she meets someone like you, who genuinely wants to be there for her, her instinct is to test you, to see if you'll stick around or if you're just another disappointment waiting to happen. And sometimes you'll make things worse because, 1, for instance, you'll make promises that you can't keep, right? For instance, if you tell her you're going to call at 8, make sure you call at 8, not 8:30. Then definitely not the next day. Consistency matters more to her than big romantic gestures. 2, you overreact to her texts. If she questions your intentions or seems skeptical about your actions, don't get defensive. Understand that her doubts are coming from her past and not from you. 3, you're pushing for immediate trust. You can't rush this process. Trust isn't something you can force. It's something you earn over time. Here's the golden rule, gentlemen. Don't say you're trustworthy. Show her you're trustworthy, because talk is cheap. And for someone who's been hurt before, words mean little without follow through. These might seem like minor things to you, but to her, they're everything. Each small, consistent action is a brick in the foundation of trust that you're building together. And the more consistent you are, the stronger that foundation will become. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. There will be setbacks. Maybe she'll get triggered by something you said, or she pulls away again just when you thought you were making progress. When this happens, don't panic. Trust building isn't a straight line. It's more like a dance. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. When setbacks happen, remind her that you're still there, still steady, and still willing to put in the effort. Apologize when you mess up, even if it seems minor. Accountability goes a long way with someone who's afraid of being let down. Building trust with a woman who has a fearful, avoidant attachment style isn't about winning her over in a week or a month. You need to play the long game and show her that you're different from the people who've hurt her in the past. And when she finally lets her guard down, the connection you share will be worth every ounce of effort, because when she trusts you, she'll love you with a depth and vulnerability that very few women can match. Now, I say while all this is going on, just remember, don't lose yourself in the process. Okay? Because if you let her push you too far, you'll end up being resentful, and that will help no one. The best way to love her without losing yourself is through balance. You can be supportive and understanding without completely sacrificing your identity, right? Set your boundaries if you must. The boundaries are not meant to shut her out. They're about protecting your own emotional well-being. For example, if she pulls back and needs space, respect that, but also let her know you're not going to tolerate being ghosted for days on end without any communication. 2, prioritize your own needs. Ask yourself, what makes you happy? What makes you feel grounded? Make those things non-negotiable. 3, communicate your feelings. Tell her what you need. If you're feeling neglected or overwhelmed, talk to her about it. Okay, talk to her. Don't bottle it up, hoping she'll magically figure it out. Women with fearful, avoidant attachment styles respect honesty and vulnerability as long as it's delivered in a calm, confident way. 4, don't be afraid to walk away. I mean, let's keep it 100. Sometimes, no matter how much effort you put in the relationship, it still won't work. If she's unwilling to meet you halfway, or if her fears are consuming your relationship, you have to know when to walk away. Staying in a relationship where you're constantly sacrificing your own happiness isn't love, it's self-sabotage. Here's the beauty of maintaining your identity. It actually makes you a better person. When you're grounded in who you are, you can show up for her in a way that's steady, that's confident, and that's attractive. She'll respect you more, trust you more, and feel safer around you. Finally, let's talk about how to recognize the wins. You've got to learn to spot the wins, celebrate them, and use them as fuel to keep building the connection. Because these women are cautious by nature. Progress is often slow, and setbacks will make it feel like you're stuck in an endless loop. If you don't take time to acknowledge the progress she's making and the progress you're making as a couple, you'll start to feel frustrated or defeated. So if you want some signs that she's starting to let her guard down, here they are. 1, she starts sharing something vulnerable, right? She'll open up about her fears, her past, even her dreams. If she does that, it's a big deal. It's her way of saying, I feel safe with you. 2, she'll initiate affection, whether it's a text, a hug, or even just holding your hand. If she's the one reaching out, that's her stepping out of her comfort zone. She's learning to associate closeness with safety instead of fear. 3, when she apologizes or acknowledges her behavior. Let's be real, apologizing is hard for anyone, but especially for someone who's afraid of vulnerability. If she starts taking accountability for pulling away or acknowledges how her actions affect you, that's a major step towards emotional growth. 4, when she makes an effort to stay close during conflict. One of the biggest signs of progress is when she chooses to stay and work through an issue instead of running away. It means she's beginning to trust that your relationship can handle challenges without falling apart. Now, I'm not saying you need to throw a party every time she opens up, but it's important to acknowledge these moments and let her know that you see the effort that she's making. I hope you found this video helpful and it's going to help you navigate your relationship better. Good luck to you. Jessica OS is my name. If you like the video, smash that like button so I know and share it with someone else who needs to hear this. Cheers.